What's up everybody? So in this video, we're going to be doing some more questions on the topic 9.1. This is basically everything to do with the xylem and transpiration. Okay, so let's just get started. Bear in mind, these are all past paper IB questions, okay? So your teacher will most likely use these in your test, okay? If you do enough, she can't surprise you or he can't surprise you, okay? So what is a difference between cohesion and adhesion? So reading this question, you might think, why is this question about cohesion and adhesion? We learned this in another topic. That's true, but this concept applies in this topic, and you'll see in this question. So let's go with A. Only adhesion is involved in transpiration pull. Okay, so coming down here, let's go down here to this picture. We know that this is a plant, right? And we know plants have these pipes in them, one of which is called a xylem. A xylem's true purpose is to move water from the roots. So water will go from the soil into the roots, and once it's in the roots, the xylem, this little pipe here, will take up the water and transport it up towards the rest of the plant, maybe perhaps the leaves or any kinds of other cells that need it. Okay, so it's from the bottom to the top. Now they're asking how is cohesion and adhesion involved in this process of moving water upwards? So the first option said only adhesion is involved in transpiration pull. So transpiration pull is just another way of saying the movement of water from here in the xylem up towards the rest of the plant. And they're saying only adhesion is involved. So adhesion is this process. Let me show you. So if we pretend this pool is the soil that has water in it, and this is the xylem, and the xylem is pulling the water, we can pretend it's like a straw, right? So at first, all the air will leave, right? Because the air is in the xylem and it will leave out of the leaf into the air, right? Now, after there's no more air, the suction will start pulling up water. Okay, water will now be pulled up since all the air has been pulled out. Now, water will move up in this transpiration stream with two factors, cohesion and adhesion. So cohesion is the attachment of water to each other, the sticking of water to each other, whereas adhesion is the sticking or attraction between water and the xylem wall. So for transpiration to happen, meaning water to be sucked up through the xylem, we need both cohesion and adhesion. If we didn't have adhesion, then the water wouldn't be attracted to this wall and want to climb up or be sucked up because it would keep slipping down. Okay, so we need adhesion for sure. But is that all we need? No, we also need cohesion. Cohesion is the attraction of water with itself. If water didn't bind to each other, think about it, then why would it coherently go up? Why would we not get one drop by one drop? The fact that water sticks together allows us to bring a whole stream of water up. That's what we call it, the transpiration stream, okay? So both cohesion, the sticking of water to itself, and adhesion, the sticking of water to the wall, is both important, okay? So both of them matter. And again, if you don't understand this image here, this is just the diagram I used in a video where I explained it very slowly. So make sure, if you don't understand based on a quick explanation, go check out that video. So we know not only adhesion is involved in this transpiration pull, it's both adhesion and cohesion. So A cannot be true. So now they're saying only cohesion is involved in the movement of water in soil. Again, not true, cohesion and adhesion, because water needs to attract to the soil and move through the soil. If it wasn't attracted to the soil, then it wouldn't be possible. Now C, only cohesion involves the interaction of water with soil mineral particles. No, that's adhesion. Remember, cohesion is the interaction of water with itself. Adhesion is the interaction of water with soil particles. So they use the wrong word here. So it's got to be D automatically. So what is D? Only adhesion involves the interaction of water with the xylem. So that's true. If we assume that this pipe here is the xylem, adhesion is the interaction or the gluing of water to the vessel, the xylem wall. That's adhesion alone. So it is D. So this admittedly is a tough one because they test your knowledge from other topics, okay? But it is still related to 9.1. Okay, so next, how do mineral ions in the soil move to the root through the soil? So how do mineral ions in the soil move to the root through the soil? So if we can pretend we have water in the soil, right? There's always some water in the soil, but along with that water, there's some minerals, okay? There's not just water. So we know water moves into the roots through osmosis, right? Because, for example, it could be like this. It could be pretty concentrated with ions and things in the root. So water wants to come in and dilute all this concentration. Now, as water moves by osmosis, some of those minerals inside here will follow or will come with through force. It's like when this water is moving, it's automatically going to drag some things with it. Not everything will stay behind, right? So it's kind of bringing it by force. Now, so these mineral ions that move to the root through the soil, does this happen through osmosis? No, water moves through osmosis. But it could be mass flow of water, because when water moves by osmosis and brings mineral ions with it, we call that mass flow, because it's a mass flow of water and automatically some things in it will come with by mass flow. Okay, so osmosis, be careful, is only a name applying to the movement of water, whereas mass flow of water can be the method of how mineral ions come in, okay, into the root. Now, why not C? So we know it's going to be B, but why not C? Because C is translocation. Translocation is what happens in the phloem, okay, in the phloem. This doesn't, the phloem isn't related to anything regarding the soil and the roots, okay? So translocation doesn't apply to that concept. And the phloem, again, the phloem is what translocation happens in. Okay, next one. Which hormone causes the closing of stomata? So maybe if you've seen part 1 and 2 of this video already, you would see this question comes up so much. And here's another example. So we know that the xylem brings up water, right? The xylem brings up water and minerals, right, to the top of the plant. Now, eventually, some of this water will be used by the cells to survive, and some of it will be sweated out, right? We call that transpiration. Now, it's just like humans. If we drink water, we will use some of it for our cells to survive, but the rest will get sweated out and peed out, right? So essentially, sweating is called transpiration in plants, and the sweating happens through a little hole here. So if we look really closely at the plant, we will see these tiny holes. They are called stomata. Okay, and they can open and close. So in this position it's closed, and now it's open, right? Depending what these two cells do. If these two cells take this circular position, then the hole's open. If they decide to close, then the hole's closed, right? So there's a specific molecule called abscisic acid. Okay, we're going to pretend it's this one. And when this molecule gets into contact with this area, it stimulates this stomata to close, okay? So it prevents water from leaving by causing the stomata to close. So this is important during times of drought. So when the plant needs to conserve water, it's important that this thing closes, okay? So the answer will be A, abscisic acid, because gibberellin is a different hormone and it is involved in seed germination. And if you haven't learned about germination yet, you'll learn about that in another chapter in plant biology. And auxin, this is something involved that you need to know about regarding plant growth. Again, you'll learn this in another subchapter. And ethylene, you don't even need to know about. Okay, this is just a trick word, a trick molecule that's trying to throw in to try and confuse you. But those three you definitely need to know about, at least at some point in the IB. Okay, but A is the answer for this one. Okay, right, next one. What is the effect? So again, now we're still continuing on with this abscisic acid. So what is the effect of abscisic acid on transpiration? So how does this molecule affect sweating in plants in a simple sense? We know it causes the closing of the stomata, right? In its presence, the stomata closes, meaning transpiration is decreased, right? Sweating is decreased. So let's see. A, it increases transpiration. Automatically, we can just stop there because no, it doesn't increase as transpiration. B, it decreases. Okay, it could be this one. Let's keep reading. By causing the stomata to close. That's exactly it. It's going to be B. But why not C? So let's see. It increases transpiration. Again, we can stop there because it doesn't increase transpiration. How about D? Because D, it says it decreases transpiration. But let's see the reasoning. By increasing the humidity inside the leaf. See, this is not the right explanation for what it really does. What it does is it causes the stomata to close, okay? It doesn't have anything related with humidity inside the leaf. That's just a random explanation that they're making up to confuse you. You need to know the right explanation, which is B. Okay, cool. I think we have one last one here. What should be an adaptation of xerophytes? Okay, so this is slightly, it's still related to 9.1, but it's like a small section of it, okay? So you need to know about xerophytes and halophytes, okay? Now they're specifically asking about xerophytes. Xerophytes is basically, let me go this way, a plant that, xero means dry and phytes means plant. So it's essentially a plant that can survive in extremely dry conditions, such as a desert. And in order to do so, it has a lot of adaptations to allow it to survive. For example, we can see that, for example, this is a leaf. Okay, if you look at this plant, this example called marram grass, as a leaf that folds up. And it folds up like this in order to prevent water loss. So by folding up like this, the water has a very difficult time of escaping, okay? So the plant manages to keep a lot of water. In addition, all of these leafy hairs here, they also form a barrier that helps prevents water from leaving, okay? So it has many other things, which I mentioned in the teaching video, but in addition to this whole idea of this folding leaves, it also has a very, it is able to have very, very deep branching roots, okay? Because we know if you've ever dug a hole, you'll notice it takes quite a while, depending where you dig, to get to water, right? So in some places you'll dig and there'll be no water, but then you go deeper and deeper and deeper, and then eventually you'll get to water. Even at the beach, if you go like somewhere here and you start digging, if you dig long enough, you're gonna get to water. So so essentially, for these plants to survive, they have really, really deep branching roots, because then if they go low enough, they can reach water. Okay, and this allows them to survive in very dry conditions. So let's look at the answers. A, stomata only on the lower epidermis. Okay, so basically what they're saying here is if we go look at the leaf, we know the leaf is like this, right? It has a top side and a bottom side. They're saying on the bottom side of the leaf, there's a lot of stomata. Wait, let me go here. There's a lot of stomata, okay, on the lower epidermis. They just mean the lower side of the plant. This doesn't help it help as an adaptation. So it's just a random statement. It doesn't help because normally there is mostly stomata at the lower epidermis. Like, it's not a special thing. Okay. B, extensive root system. See, this is what I was saying. It has an extensive, deep branching root system that can reach water in really deep scenarios, and that way, in a very dry environment, it can survive. So it's probably going to be B, but let's keep looking. C, large surface area of leaves. So like I said, over here, they try to fold up to reduce the surface area that is exposed to sunlight, because by reducing the amount of this inside area exposed to sunlight, then less transpiration will happen, okay? Because we know sunlight triggers the stomata to open, and so that it can lose water, okay? So it would not be C, because actually they have a lower surface area of the leaves. How about D? Photosynthesis without light-dependent metabolism. So again, this is just a random kind of statement trying to throw you off, where you should just know the real mechanisms that actually contribute, which we know is B, okay? So hopefully this video was useful for you. Just don't stop here. Try and find more questions. If you can't find, just email me. I can send you a bunch more questions, which you can try by yourself. Do as many as possible, and I guarantee you, you'll basically have seen every question on your class test, because they're just going to take these from the past papers.